Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Late Nights in Party Chat podcast. I know it has been a considerable amount of time since we've last recorded, because as we've stated and will continue to state until the end of time, shit happens. We all have different schedules and we have different time frames when we're available, and we really haven't found a time that works. And when we do, the other people or person or myself isn't available. So we're hoping to get back on a more consistent schedule, hoping to pump out some more content, some better content, because we enjoy doing this and we want to make a career out of this at some point. So we just got to keep trucking along. But as always, I am Justin. Joining me today are my two best friends in the whole wide world, and they both know it. John.
Did you guys know that redheads only have two settings, and that's sour cream and Red Lobster? I want you to guess which one I am right now.
What the
fuck? You're a sour cream. You're pretty sour about all the things that have happened.
No, I'm recently. Red Lobster because I mowed my parents'
yard. Oh, it's his fucking skin. It's his fucking skin. Oh my god.
Yard, and I forgot to put sunscreen on.
That's pretty funny. I had no idea what he was getting at with that.
I didn't know either, man. But you heard him. Toes. You heard him. It's Justice. He's here.
Yeah, I hate everything and everyone except like these two, my dad, this guy named Patrick, and my girlfriend. That's about it.
I'd like to notice that he didn't name drop us two specifically, but gave at least titles or relationships to everyone else.
Right. Well, you two already introduced yourself, so why would I reintroduce you?
Anyway.
All right, I'm going home. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining the podcast. Have a good night.
Anyway, this has been the Late Nights in Party Chat.
Welcome to the final episode. No.
This is it. We're done.
This is it.
Don't come back.
Don't talk to us anymore.
Quickly, everyone go make a Twitter account so we can start some drama.
I already have a Twitter account. We already have a Twitter account. I've told you.
Actually, it's X.
Shut the fuck up. It's Twitter.
I'll kill you.
Whatever. Do it. I've been waiting 22 years.
Yeah, he was in the womb hoping to die.
In the womb. Nah, this ain't it, Chief.
This ain't it, Chief. Alright. So, today I want to talk about conspiracy theories.
I'll give you a conspiracy theory. My balls are purple.
That's not a conspiracy theory. I've seen them.
Fuck.
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean?
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? But no. The last episode I did, which was like a month ago, was creepypastas and cryptids. And I wanted to kind of stay on that same track of like potentially spooky shit, because why not? And I was like, let's do conspiracy theories. Let's put on our tinfoil hats and talk about some crazy shit. So I have my tinfoil hat on. Did you guys get your tinfoil hats?
I got a bottle of tea I can tape to my forehead.
I'm in danger.
That works. That works. I dig it. His head's in the right place, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So I looked up a list because I don't remember a bunch off the top of my head because I'm an idiot. So here is number 1 on our list of conspiracy theories, and it's a banger. The moon landing was fake.
Oh, that one's so commonplace. That's just like.
But like it's true.
The moon is not made of cheese, ladies and gentlemen.
Nah, that's fake. That's false.
That's false.
Incorrect.
That makes me sad.
There's no way we have this much cheese on the planet. What do you think? People are just out there jerking cows and goats 24/7? Nah.
How
no, they've got robots for that.
About this.
They have robots for that. What are you talking about?
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, Chief. I've seen some things.
John's been through some shit.
John's that meme of the dude from the military with like the fucking helmet and the wide ass eyes.
The like flashback picture.
Yeah, the flashback.
You know, I was thinking of the one with the dog in the helicopter, and he's got the military vest on and the helmet, That's
Yep.
John.
Yep.
So, like, no, I've like, oh my god, I used to work with someone, and I know Sam could say a lot about this too, because he used to work with someone that was so into conspiracy theory stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't so much that they would even have a discussion with you about it. If you tried to counterpoint them at all, they got legitimately mad at you. Like,
Hate people like that.
I just...
Listen, if I'm talking about conspiracy theories and someone doesn't agree with me, I'm gonna have a conversation with them about it. Cause like, if it's something that I genuinely believe in, like I believe, like, yeah, this is true. This is 100. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is 100% true. And they're like, no, it's just a theory. We can't prove anything. I want to know why they think that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and then
You see,
go ahead.
I'm a little different. If you come at me and you're like, hey, what you think is wrong, I'm writing down your name, your address, and your favorite family member.
Well,
He's writing it. He's just writing it down on a piece of paper. He's not gonna do anything. It's
I
just
feel like
there.
I
He's
should
got a
probably
list.
leave before I have to testify in court. Like,
No, I
Hello,
see a lot of
FBI
it, though.
agent. We're not doing anything. I promise.
A lot
For
of it
legal
though,
reasons, this is a
it's
joke.
about the. It's true. It's true. Legal reasons. But no, it's about the discussion, man. If you can have a lengthy discussion, and you're actually like talking, you're not arguing, you're not fighting, and they're listening, they're adding points or they're asking questions. Those are like the good conversations. But some people, yeah, they hear you talking and they're just like, I don't care what you're saying, I'm gonna disagree with all of it.
It's like person sitting there completely calm. I hate this. Flips table.
Exactly.
the problem with that is I've yet to hear a conspiracy theory that makes me go, oh, and actually like make me think it's true, because all of them just sound so like.
Well,
Bad
here's
shit
one that's
insane.
a brain. Here's one that's kind of a one that'll make you be like, oh, the government killed JFK.
I've heard that one too. I'm just like, maybe they did, but I prove it.
I'll be honest,
just-
I haven't heard that one, but I could see it.
One of Kennedy's brother thinks that the CIA did it.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, that's just along the line of like the government is an inside job. Like,
Oh my god,
you know,
this was
like,
just dumb.
Well, let's just go ask the government.
Yeah. Hey, government, is this
so,
true?
Biden, hey.
That motherfucker probably would tell us too.
Probably. And then he'd forget that he told us, and then shit his
then he-
pants.
And then he'd try to shake our hand even though we're over the phone.
Air 5 just
Here's one that's absolutely fucking stupid. COVID-19 was engineered by the media.
I've heard that one too, and anybody who thinks that is also an anti-masker and an anti-vaxxer, and I've learned just to not value their opinions.
Yeah.
Alright, hold on. I'm not agreeing with it, but I do want to say this. A large portion of people who contracted COVID detailed it as nothing more than like a bad cold or a bad flu. Like, I think
Well, I mean-
it was nowhere near as like bad as the world made it out to be.
Well, the thing is that like a lot of people that got COVID didn't have pre-existing symptoms. So like that's what it was for a lot of people. Like the people that were dying had like severe asthma, heart conditions, shit like that. And them having COVID on
Made it
top
worse.
of their pre-existing conditions is what killed them.
See,
Right.
and, like, the problem too, I think, is that it just when it really blew up. So like the girlfriend I had at the time, like she had a sinus infection. We went in to get checked out, and we were looking at this like I hadn't been sick, no one around her had been sick or had COVID or anything like that. So they had to do a COVID test, and so we asked them while they waited. This is back when the test took like a week or two to get back.
Right? Not
And
5
so we
minutes.
asked them, we were like,
Right.
well, can we get prescribed for like a sinus infection antibiotic just in case? And they were like, well, we can't do anything until we get the tests back. And this was also back where if one person in the apartment got it, everybody in the apartment had to quarantine.
Right.
So I feel like some
I don't
of it,
want to
like to a level, like it got blown out of proportion to a degree, and like the media did play a big part of that.
Yes,
but I like, so where your point is, like, you know a lot of people who had COVID that detailed it as nothing more than just a bad cold. There are people I know who had COVID that were as bad as they sound. Like one of my friends, like she couldn't, the last time I talked to her was actual years ago, but like
during COVID,
the last I knew, like she still couldn't like taste peanut butter, or her taste buds were never the same after. They never like made that recovery.
I will agree there. Some people I do know have stated that, like, okay, so my dad, for example, my dad got COVID, and before COVID he could drink like certain types of beers, and then after COVID he's like, I think they taste like shit now. Like I can't even, they're not good anymore.
It's just, beer is disgusting as a whole, though. I don't think that's necessarily COVID's fault.
It really is.
Well, I mean, it's definitely an acquired taste.
COVID just set your dad on the right track.
I don't necessarily like it myself, but like it still goes to show that it can, make those changes.
Like I'm just saying, like, if I ever go to like default to piss water to drink when I go out to a bar, I want someone to actually slap me in the face.
I got you. Listen, I will drink my fruity wine coolers any day of the week before I drink beer. I would rather have some manly man who only drinks whiskey and beer come up and make fun of me for drinking a fucking Mike's before I drink beer. I fucking hate beer.
Okay, so this is a side tangent, because now I feel like I have to share this story, because it's just the funniest shit from my 21st birthday. Went out to the Fish Street Tavern here in Norfolk. Oh, God.
We already talked about the tornadoes, John.
That's also fair. But so I get there, and Sam DD'd and walked in, and I happened to run into an old coworker of mine who was out with her mother, and got to talking to her because I hadn't seen her in forever, and whatever, that was all it was. She was like, well, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, I turned 21 today. Oh, her and her mom bought me my first like drink, and it was a Colorado Mud Dog? Is that what they're called?
I have no clue, dude. Norfolk has such weird fucking names for their drinks.
Anyway, so we go, whatever. We finished the night, talked to them, and then they head out, and I was talking to their family. And next day, I go to my uncle's with Dad, and he looks at me. He looks at Dad. He looks back to me, and he was like, "Who were those two ladies you were talking to when you got there?" And I was just stopped to think for a bit because I got really fucking drunk. I was like, oh, I told him it was an old coworker, and it was her mom, and looked back to Dad, looked back to me, looked back to Dad, looked back to me. Oh, so they're old coworkers. Yeah, the one is. Looked back to Dad, and they started laughing because they were both convinced that I had invited like 2 cougars to my 21st birthday party, and I was like, what the fuck, guys?
Oh my God.
That's a hell of a 21st.
Right? Like...
No, like I don't want to make it sound with COVID that like I wasn't on either side of the fence. I was kind of like riding the fence. I went and got my vaccine because I had to. I would have been fine without it, but I got it. I didn't feel any different. My arm isn't magnetic, or I haven't grown a third arm yet that I know of.
Disappointing, really.
Honestly, and but I think there is a certain validity to it. I agree with vaccinations. I think you should get your kids vaccinated. But don't, like, the thing with, like, the COVID vaccine that I agree with is that they were really rushed in production. So I can understand why we have, like, 17 other shots that we need to get. But I also don't see the point if you tell us the first one is valid and we don't need anything else to get the other 16 shots.
And that is kind of the thing, is that they were trying to get ahead of the curve. And so, yeah, like, this initial set was rushed, and yeah, they had boosters that some places required you to take. And I just, like... It was one hell of a time to work in retail, because
oh my God,
I could
yes.
not open my mouth to do my job without getting chewed out by the customer for enforcing store policy because it didn't align with their specific views. Like, the amount of times I got called a bitch or a trained monkey or some other line like that and then also being a manager at the time, the amount of time I had to field complaints because like I had someone that was helping me out one morning because we were super busy and I was short-staffed, and he told the person, you know, you had to wear a mask to go into the store, you had to keep the mask on, or you know, and I was no one else would ever tell the guests or the customers to put their masks up. I was the one that caught the brunt of it because I was one of the few people that wasn't afraid to actually say something.
Right.
But the guy that was helping me...
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
The guy that was helping me was like, hey, I've got absolutely no issue helping you out, but I do need you to keep your mask up, you know, store policy, you know, things like that. He's got a wife. He's not trying to get sick. If he gets sick, he's not trying to get her sick, you know. He wasn't rude about it at all. I was literally like the computer over. I heard at like pretty much everything that he said.
Right.
This guy ultimately left, didn't have the estimate done because he refused to put his mask up, and then called saying that, well, you guys just lost business because he was being an asshole. And I was like, well, he wasn't being an asshole, but okay, bye. Like I fucking hate people.
Oh, so do I.
I kind of want to branch off of that though. The whole COVID thing and the whole mask thing has like drastically changed the world. I mean, us for example, I work security at a casino, and there's certain things that can and cannot come in. And if you have masks because you're still worried about COVID and whatnot, we have to ask you to pull your mask down so we can see your face when you walk in. Some people have a very big problem with that, and I get it. You know, the world's changed; it's a different place now. But like, COVID has drastically changed the world in more ways than I think some people realize.
We had to do the same thing because I think I worked at a gas station at the time for a little while. I worked at a gas station for a little bit, and then I worked at Menards for a little bit during COVID, and when I worked at the gas station, we had to do the same thing when we were IDing for liquor. We have to have them pull down their mask, and oh my god, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know anymore.
Here's another good one. Earth has been sucked into a black hole.
I have not heard this one. What is the logic behind this one?
The European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, is at the heart of a lot of crazy conspiracy theories, including the belief that when CERN discovered the Higgs boson, or boson, I don't know how to pronounce it, aka the God particle, in 2012, it inadvertently created a black hole and Earth was sucked into it. These believers think that the world ended in 2012, but we haven't realized it yet.
If it ended in 2012, how are we in 2024?
Yeah, how are we still here?
Here's the fucked up thing, right? Even, let's say, that's true. We have zero way of proving whether it is or isn't, because nobody knows a damn thing about what the inside of a black hole actually does to us.
Yeah, true.
Why am I not a spaghetti monster?
Because that's not how the body works.
No, but that's how black holes work.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
do you know?
Science.
Have you stuck your dick in a black hole?
Science told me so.
Science told you?
You know what else science told me?
Give me Science's number and I'll have a conversation with him.
You want to know what else science told me?
What?
All birds are drones for the government.
The birds work for the bourgeoisie.
Bro, what is that thing Michael said? It was like he used the word bird and he turned it into an anagram for some government shit. What the fuck did he say?
Oh my god, I forget. I remember when he fucking said that to me.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I'm texting him right now. Hold
on. Here's another one while John does that. Disney created Frozen as a distraction.
I could see that.
People have long discussed the conspiracy that Walt Disney used cryogenic technology to freeze himself when he died, even though the Disney family refutes the claims. However, a new theory is that the Walt Disney Company created Frozen as a way to hack Google's search algorithm and distract consumers from information about the late Walt Disney's possible frozen procedure.
I could see that.
But my understanding is that wasn't a recent thing. He did that like years ago.
Well, Disney's been dead since like the 70s, I believe.
Supposedly. What I believe they said was that he had talked about posthumously freezing his body, not to get revived at some point, but like for preservation or something. That's what I heard. Is that like he was already dead when they froze him, so there was no way to bring him back? I'm not gonna totally lie to you. I might also be thinking of the Family Guy bit, now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh my god.
Where he like had himself cryogenically frozen because he was like a huge anti-Semitic like.
Well, that's the theory, is that he had some terminal illness that like wasn't curable, and they froze his body before he died, so that when they found a cure for his disease, they could unfreeze him and cure him. That's the theory.
He answered me, by the way.
What'd he say?
BIRD stands for Basic Information Reconnaissance Drone.
That's what it was.
The birds work for the bourgeoisie.
Birds work for the bourgeoisie.
I'm just saying, has anyone seen a baby pigeon before? In real life?
Bro, why do you think the birds can hang out on power line charging?
They're charging.
So what about okay, so what about the parrot that like I had like my cousins bought like years ago?
FBI, NSA, keeping track of you.
Why do you think we don't see that many bald eagles anymore? Because those are like the undercover ones.
And they're extinct, or they're endangered, so we keep an eye out for them, so they stop making them as much.
Right.
My God, it's all coming together.
Here's another good one. The Denver International Airport is the Illuminati's headquarters.
What the
Yep.
Why? Why the Denver International Airport specifically?
What a zinger.
The Illuminati leads to a conspiracy rabbit hole that we're not going to delve too far into, except when it comes to the Denver International Airport. Many Illuminati believers are convinced it's the secret group's headquarters. The airport has embraced the rumors by poking fun at it, but it hasn't stopped people from believing secret tunnels and lizard lairs are lurking beneath the building.
Secret tunnels, you say?
Secret tunnel!
I was with it until they said a lizard lair.
Lizard lair. I'm gonna change the name of the group chat from Drip Gang to Lizard Lair.
Please.
That's fucking
Oh my
God.
Here's another one. This one's pretty common. The Earth is hollow.
This one I've heard. I don't believe it, but this one I've heard.
Listen, we all watched King Kong. I watched part of it. The Earth is hollow.
Well, maybe if you don't fall asleep in the middle of the movie,
I'm sorry.
we don't have this problem.
I was running on no sleep. I had been up for over 24 hours.
Yeah, we know how you do with little sleep. It's okay.
I feel like this is one
I do my best.
I feel like this is one that wouldn't be hard to prove, but is way past, like, there's no reason for us to.
Well, yeah, the problem is that, like, so we have, like, pictures and shit from the ocean floor, like, the deepest points on Earth, right? And it's pitch black down there normally.
Right.
The problem is that we don't have anything built to go deeper than that.
Well, and if science is to be believed, there's no reason to. It's so hot down there that... Because it goes from the crust to the mantle, and the mantle's so fucking hot, and then if you can get through the mantle, it's the core, which is like unbelievably, unfathomably hot. So like,
well, yeah, and that's, well, to me, like, that's kind of the whole thing, is that, I guess to me, the whole idea that, oh, the Earth is hollow, that would mean, if hypothetically that were true, there is no core.
Yeah, so how is our planet sustaining itself with no core?
Well, like, I guess in that essence, though, we would have to prove that every single planet has a core.
That's fair.
Which, I mean, we can only do for...
It would take years to do for any planet.
I mean...
We don't have faster than light travel yet, or even light travel yet. So there's no way we'd get there without it taking fucking at least a decade to... I don't know how long it takes to get to Mars, but...
Born to be in the Destiny universe, forced to be in modern times.
God, right.
Didn't they do the math, with our current technology? Wasn't it, a year?
Maybe.
To do what, I'm sorry?
To go to Mars. I have no clue.
I don't know, I guess. I haven't heard that.
But we talked about Hollow Earth, so now we have to go to the complete opposite, Flat Earth.
Let's just move past this one.
Anybody who says the Earth is flat, or the Earth.
No, I want to talk about this specifically because I love it so much that they keep proving themselves wrong.
See, this is the specific topic that Sam's coworker will fight to the death on.
I love so much.
It's literally he is such the hardcore believer that if the Antarctica and the Arctic, the North and South poles, they're effectively ice walls. No one knows what's beyond them, and anybody that does know what's beyond them is killed. And it's hard to get beyond them because all the governments of the world are secretly united and put a dome over the whole of the planet so no one can find out.
Listen, dude, I listen to SCP videos going to sleep. If there was a shadow government that had control of that, they're not that fucking concerned about Flat Earth. I've seen so many videos of people that, have you guys seen the light test that they did?
Yeah. I for a while there, a lot of that stuff popped up between my Facebook and my TikTok, and it was just so funny because every single instance of testing that they tried to do to claim that the Earth is flat only continuously proved that it's spherical.
For those of you that don't know or haven't seen it, there's a video, the light test that I'm talking about. They did this at night, and they had a flashlight on a pole that was a 7-foot pole or something, and they had another a piece of wood with a hole in it directly straight in front of the light, 20 or 30 yards or something. It was a distance away, and they were okay, the Earth is flat, so saying that the Earth is flat, you should be able to see this beam of light from this flashlight through the hole on that piece of board down however far. And they sat there for fucking 20 minutes getting this shit set up, getting the light set up, all this shit, and they finally go and do the test, and they turn the flashlight on, and they're like, hey, we can't see the light through the hole. And they're like, what do you mean? And they're like, we can't see it. Is it set up right? And they're like, yeah. They're like, is it on? They're like, yeah. It's because the board was I think 3 or 4 inches or something, but the hole was below where the light beam was being cast, proving that the Earth is fucking round. And they're sitting there scratching their heads how the fuck? How? And I think someone said later that I don't even remember the excuse for why they tried to dispute that, but I know they've tried to dispute it, and it's fucking hilarious.
Bro, I bet if you took one of those flat earthers onto a craft, you put them in space, their head would just explode. They'd be like, it's round.
They would say it's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, it's all smoke and mirrors. He's not actually looking at the Earth. The windows on the spacecraft are actually just TVs playing a pre-rendered video.
And all the pictures we have of the Earth from space are photoshopped.
Yapping. Look, I'm gonna prove it wrong. I'm gonna prove it wrong right now. If the Earth was flat, my cat would have knocked us off the edge already.
Fucking honestly, bro. Fucking honestly.
God damn it.
He's not wrong. Number 9.
Point proven.
Prince Charles is a vampire.
What the fuck?
Prince Charles. He
the royal wedding a few years ago?
Yeah, Prince Charles, like the husband of the Queen, Prince Charles.
Oh, okay, the old dude. Gotcha.
The old dude.
No. Sam Elliott, he's a vampire. This Prince Charles dude, don't care.
Sam Elliott, Keanu Reeves, Eminem.
The first Aunt May from the Spider-Man movie, Sam Raimi one.
Yeah.
What is it? There's a Netflix TV show up making fun of the shadow government.
Oh yeah.
They
What is it?
have
What is
an
it fucking called? Oh my god.
They have an episode that addresses like
Keanu Reeves
this,
being a
like,
vampire.
This circle of celebrities, country stars, movie stars, government officials are all vampires, and I think it points out because it's like Keanu Reeves starts dating the main like chick's mom or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. I've watched the show. Yeah. Keanu Reeves starts dating the main character's mom, and she ends up killing Keanu Reeves because he's a vampire.
What is it? I'm gonna
All I'm
find
saying.
it. What is it called?
All I'm saying, I'd let Keanu suck my blood.
I would too.
Inside Job. That's what it's called.
Inside Job. Yep, that's what it is. Here's another one, and we've already talked about this, so I'm not going to touch on it very much, but Bigfoot is real.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think we, yep. I think we
I'm
established
right
that, yeah.
here, guys. What the fuck?
Bigfoot's brown, not red, you fucking racist.
Yeah.
No, it's just that all the images of me are actually doctored.
Here's another good one. The Nazis had a secret base in Antarctica.
Okay, that honestly could be believable.
Let me read the thing before you say that. Rumors began circulating in the 50s that the Nazis had a secret base in Antarctica that housed advanced technology like UFOs. However, since then, no evidence has been discovered to suggest that it's true, and Cambridge researcher Colin Summerhays wrote a 21-page paper disputing the theory.
Alright, well, yeah, that does seem a little bit of a stretch. But one thing I will say in its favor is the term UFO is thrown around very loosely over a lot of things.
Well, I think they stopped using the term UFO for like NASA and shit.
Well,
I'm not certain.
they might have stopped using it to a degree, but it's my understanding because I feel like I remember like a story like a few months back, I think, where it was in like Colorado or someplace, saw like lights up in the sky that, and like the media, I'm pretty sure, was using UFO as the term for it. So I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe
so-
like NASA officially doesn't use it.
So
but the
there-
term
UFO
is
is-
still thrown around.
Yeah, UFO is still a term. It's like a flying object, so something you see in the sky flying.
Yeah.
The one that I heard that they changed it to, it's not, they didn't change it. It's just two different terms now because there's UFO and UAP, which is unidentified aerial phenomena, which is like
That would be
lights
more
in the
alien.
sky and, shit like that.
Okay.
Because people would see lights and shit and they would be like, oh my god, it's a UFO. But, like, you don't know what it is.
Nah, that's Todd coming home from his fucking date in Colorado.
It's Todd Howard flying in his spaceship.
Sorry guys, bugs are leaking.
It just works.
It just works. Here's another one.
I got
go ahead.
one then.
Go ahead.
Fucking Zuckerberg being a lizard man.
That's not a conspiracy theory. If he's not a lizard, he's a robot, and I stand by that.
That dude is like one of the goofiest people on this planet.
Dude, he spent 12 years wearing nothing but a blue hoodie and a t-shirt. He's fucking weird.
I have no comment on this one.
He's just like, yep,
Yeah.
I agree.
We are all living in the Matrix.
See,
Yes.
this I've heard. Yeah, I don't.
This one I actually back.
I'm not. This is one of them where like people make their points, and I'm like, oh, okay, but I'm still not like convinced.
Well,
It is
why?
mathematically more likely that we are in a matrix than not because of all the shit that like occurs in a day-to-day life and how like exactly specific the human body is, it is more mathematically probable that we are in some sort of simulation than for us not to be.
So John, let me give you a good example, right? There have been people that have fallen out of 20-story buildings without a scratch and lived.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have different people that will trip on literally nothing and break almost every bone in their body.
Yep.
Explain to me how that isn't just a computer glitch.
Nah, dude, that's just Tyler.
I go back to like there was like science research done that shows that like our, you know how we only utilize like a percentage of our brain.
Yeah.
So in certain scenarios,
Which is false, by the way.
Is
go
it
ahead.
though?
It is.
Is
I'll
it?
explain.
Well,
I'll
it
explain.
depends who
so
you're
then
talking
here's
about.
the conspiracy theory I back then. Okay, we found one.
Okay. Go ahead.
But
Go
no,
ahead.
so like the logic is that sorry, I like hard stuttered over my sentence.
His brain, he stopped using that percentage of his brain.
Oh god, the government. No, so like the thought is that like we only use like a small, like a not a small, but like 60 to 70% of our what our brain actually does, because using any more than that would effectively like not rip the body apart, but we wouldn't be able to handle it for long periods of time. But in cases of high stress, octane, or like adrenaline rush, so like there are stories of
People lifting cars off of kids.
like people
and shit.
lifting cars off of kids, and that's like where I would contribute that to, is that like, hey, this person is falling out of a 20-story window. Like, especially to me, like depending on what they were doing before that led to them falling out of a 20-story window, I could potentially see an argument for like they survive. Like I hesitate to say get off completely scratch free, because you're just not going to. Like,
Have you ever seen the movie Lucy?
God, Lucy's such a good movie.
It has been on my list. No, I haven't.
All right. So the concept of this movie is that this girl essentially gets like drugged. She gets this drug gets implanted into her body, and she was supposed to smuggle it with her body. Well, she ends up getting like attacked or kicked or something, and this drug like pops open. And what it did is it essentially gave her more access to parts of her brain, so she could use more percentage of her brain. And she starts hunting down the other guys who got this drug put in their body so they could traffic it, and taking the drug for herself. And she becomes like fucking extremely intelligent, basically God, like stupid intelligent, and has like powers and stuff. It's wild, but like it really dives into the concept pretty like sciencey actually. Morgan Freeman's in it, and they do a good job of explaining it.
Well,
so
like,
the reason
there's another
using
movie
more
like
parts
that,
of the brain.
that's,
Limitless.
Yeah, Limitless. It's got the dude from The
Limitless.
Hangover in it, that like
Bradley
asshole
Cooper.
dude.
Bradley Cooper.
But that's the like movie I specifically remember about it. I know Lucy exists, and it's been on my watch list forever. I've just never actually tried to go find it.
The thing is that the whole like you only use like 10% of your brain thing is false, because it's not that you don't use all you don't use a certain percentage of your brain. You do use all of your brain, but you have different parts of your brain for different things. You're not using 100% of your brain all the time, because there are parts for like sleep, parts that run
correct.
like dopamine, shit like that. So it's not that you're only using 10% of your brain. You might only be using, I think 70 is a good percentage. I think that's what it is you're at a given time you're only ever using like 70% of your brain.
But that's also, to me, running off of the preconception that, so hypothetically, like, let's say someone was doing something that every part of their brain was going, that's running on the preconception that that is what the limit for those parts of the brain are.
But you're not, because how are you going to use the parts of your brain to see and to hear and to think, but also the same part that runs like sleeping and dreaming. You can't use those two parts at the same time.
So I see where you're coming from, and I feel like maybe we're saying the same thing on two different pages. I'm not saying using 100%. To me, I guess using 100. It's weird wording. Using 100% of your brain doesn't mean everything, every last bit, piece, section of your brain is running. I'm saying that so the part of your brain that controls your eyesight, for example, so how you see and process information, is running when you're awake, right?
Yeah.
So to me, what you're saying is that, okay, well, you're currently using that is the extent to which it can be done.
Well, that might
to me,
be
it's
to
use your full percentage of the brain would be, okay, well, I'm looking at my computer screen right now and seeing the volume bars flicker.
Yeah.
Whereas then, if I'm going to utilize more of my brain percentage or that power, is that I'm going to look out my window, and exaggeration, but I'm going to look out my window and see you in Omaha or some shit like that,
Right, but then that goes into, does the human brain as it is now, with no augmentations, no defects, nothing, does your brain even have the capacity to understand that information? We can't see an infrared light.
No, we can't.
But that's not to say that the brain doesn't have the ability to process us seeing an infrared light.
Exactly.
It's just it's the whole thing of does the body have the capability to be able to process and even achieve this level of informational, level of information?
I believe that it can, but it doesn't, because the reason is doing so would
so then but then that goes into the whole point of
we are not at a point adaptation wise that is able to handle that level of
information,
of that information. Whereas in 1,000 years, if we're still
so
around
the thing is that if your brain can handle that information, can your eyes?
All right, hang on. Okay, so think of it like this, right? When you work out a muscle for a long period of time, your arms get tired. Or when you take a test that really strains your head for a long period of time, headache. And I imagine the same thing applies when you have those bursts of adrenaline where you're lifting cars, you're buildings. You're really, working that muscle and you're putting things into overdrive. Afterwards, you probably don't feel so good when the adrenaline. And I imagine the same thing would apply to the brain, but we can't push the brain that far or it would literally just shut down.
So I read this book recently. I didn't read it. I listened to it on Audible. But
Audible.com.
Sponsored, not really.
We wish.
But I listened to it on Audible, and it's called Vicious. And I would really suggest you guys read it. It's a superhero book, but it's very scientific. It's very thought out. So the whole premise of the book is these two college students come up with a theory that near-death experiences and the adrenaline rush that you get from near-death experiences, under the right circumstances, can give you supernatural abilities. Yeah. And in the case of the book, they do. And how you died and what you were thinking when you died is because you die and then come back. It's not necessarily a near-death experience, because near-death, in my mind, at least facilitates you almost died, not that you actually died.
So this is looking at it from a science fiction standpoint, where they have a near-death, they recovered, and because they had a near-death experience and didn't die, they now have some permanent side effect or power from it. Am I understanding?
Yes. And the main character, his name is Victor. He was in a very immense amount of pain because he was being electrocuted when he died. He was in a very immense amount of pain. So he was like, I just want the pain to stop. I want the pain to stop. I want the pain to stop. That's all he was thinking. So when he got resuscitated, his ability is that he can control pain. Not just in himself, but in other people.
That's weird and wild.
Legit, it's crazy. And he is so, he's so thought out and meticulous in the way he uses his power. that it's crazy. Like, it's such a good book.
It'd be like, you'd be petty with it. Be like, yo, Jared, you drank my last Coke? Yeah, man, I did. How your toes feel right now?
Makes me think of that animation TikTok where it's the husband and wife. The wife is in labor, and they have a machine that can transfer the labor pains to the baby's father. So he turns it on to like 20%, and he's like, nah, I'm feeling okay. Go ahead and turn it up a bit. And he gets a call from his best friend who is in pain, thinking he's passing like this huge kidney stone. And he turns it up, and the friend gets into more pain, and then he realizes what's going on, looks at his wife, looks at the doctor, says, turn it to 100, and then you just hear his friend screaming through the phone.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Excuse me.
But no, I think that I really liked the premise of that story just because, like, it was very scientific. It did use a lot of medical terms and medical, I guess, in a pseudo-medical process to explain superpowers.
Right, and I think that's a really cool way to do it. Like, it does a little bit better, and I think that, honestly, how even something like My Hero Academia explains quirks in their quirks in their powers, like, I appreciate it when it's from, like, a genetic mutation standpoint, or they can actually, like, scientifically explain it.
Instead of just, he alien.
Right? Ah, man, he's actually, this farm kid from Alabama, but he's actually from outer space, and he was found by this farmer couple and
it was
raised
Kansas.
as a human.
Get it right.
One of them yeehaw something sister states.
You live in one of them yeehaw sister states, you dumb fuck.
I do not.
Look, guys, that's just Clark. Let him be.
That being said,
don't make fun of Clark from Kansas. If you want to shit on Superman, but don't shit on my boy Clark.
Fuck Batman. Anyways,
are we getting to that time, boys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we didn't get through our whole list of conspiracy theories. We'll probably jump back to this at some point because I do like talking about conspiracy theories. But I hope that our absence has not affected you very much. I know it's kind of been difficult for all of us here at Late Nights trying to get shit figured out. Because, this is really, outside of trying to figure out a time to hang out in real life, this is like the only time that we get to sit down and talk and bullshit with each other. So...
yeah, this motherfucker came over to my house the other day for almost an hour, and all he did was sit in my kitchen, eat my fucking pizza rolls, and sit on TikTok.
You offered to give me the pizza rolls.
And then, yeah, but you could have come and sat next to me. Nah, you were like, I'm good. I'm gonna sit over here and watch TikToks instead.
I wasn't watching TikToks the whole time. I was watching The Witcher right along with you.
Bullshit. I'm like, come watch the show. You're like, I don't want to. You said those words.
I don't remember saying those words.
Watch The Witcher. I'm just kidding. It's actually pretty good.
Up until season 3.
Don't watch. It's pretty good.
Don't watch season 4.
If you watch The Witcher without any prior knowledge of the books or games, it's actually pretty good standalone.
But once again, it is me, Justin, joined by Justice.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Hey, what's up?
You fucking
have a good night.
And John.
Be safe.
Thank you, guys. Be safe. Have a good night.
Tell your father that you love them.
Yeah, it's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there listening, if any dads are listening.
I took mine to breakfast. I'm about to make John a dad.
I'm about to make all y'all dads.
Son.
For a long time, that was Justice's name in my phone, was Son.
Boy. Feed me.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Laters.